Nothing ever works the first time.
No, it never does.
Yeah. I'm drinking. I should calm down in a minute.
Let's see. So Death Jest, Cat, and Madison are all in there.
Okay, it claims we are live, so I will move it over to the cast window. Yeah. And we're back.
Yay!
Apparently.
We were talking about Scott's dad pissing on him last.
What?
Something like that.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a
Dude,
thing.
seriously. The idea, I don't care what kind of joke material you're going for, but, fucking Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015. It's the 2015 that kills me. I already get the joke, but that's the fabulous, just cringe-inducing part of it, is the implication that there either has been or will be more content.
You know what? Have them forward it to me. Give me the damn game, and I will go shower with my digital.
With your digital dad.
Now you're on a list somewhere.
I will shower with my digital
Forward
dad.
your dad's dick to me, and I will go shower with it.
Oh, God.
So much alliteration in this conversation.
Dick in a box, priority mail. Put some ice in with
Priority mail! Ah! Anyway.
Oh, the jokes at the post office when I worked there years ago, because one of the jobs was called mail handler.
Oh,
And somehow nobody made the
Too
joke
easy.
before I got there. Everybody went, what?
maybe they were just being really polite.
You know, I totally didn't
Yeah,
even
they
get
were
the
kinda
joke that other Jay-Z was telling until you made yours, Scott. I'm like, oh, right. Mail, M-A-L-E.
Yeah, yeah.
We literally had to spell it out for you.
You do. You do.
Yeah, I was going to say, it pretty well took you by the hand on that one.
Yeah. And I'm the guy who used to introduce all this bullshit with puns, so I don't
Oh.
know. I don't know.
No shit.
I'm gonna go back to looking at my hero clicks.
Oh, God.
So I have been going through Netflix lately. I've been doing nothing but playing Hearthstone and just running Netflix. And I thought, with Halloween quasi sort of coming up, I know that zombies... Eh?
No, we
Sorry.
don't have any audio on the podcast page on Twitch.
We have no audio on the podcast page on Twitch.
Yeah, it's not doing shit.
Oh, wait, there it is.
No, there it is.
Yeah.
It's just apparently really late.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it is like 30 seconds behind or something like that, right?
That's more than 30 seconds.
So
I
that's
haven't
good.
seen it do shit, and I was like starting to really worry about that. I was like, ah, damn it.
Oh, okay. So,
So, Halloween coming up.
okay, full panic. Okay, Halloween.
Oh, wait.
I know vampires, zombies, all that stuff is completely fucked out by now, and everyone is so tired of it. I get all that. But there are actually some still good sort of not AAA shows, movies, and stuff left on Netflix, so I wanted to bring some of those up real quick. The first one is The Returned. Have any of you guys watched that?
Nope.
Never
No, I haven't
heard
even
of
seen it in my queue. or
It's,
anything like that. I usually go through almost all the horror stuff on Netflix.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, I suppose he's half dead on the cover, but it doesn't strike you as it would be. I mean, it's not like some big snarly teeth thing on the front cover. It's basically the zombie apocalypse happened, but we figured out a cure, and people just have to take these shots every day to, if you're bit, you can take these shots and it doesn't cure you, but it sort of treats it, and you don't go biting people. And then that's they're running out of it. So
I
like
think I
that's sort
dated
of
that person once.
Isn't that kind of the plot of Dead Rising or whatever the fuck too?
Dead
the
Rising 2 kind of.
Zombex, yeah,
yeah.
stuff.
So it's that and sort of watching what happens. So it's a zombie apocalypse movie, but the zombies are only sort of in the background. It's sort of just it's a logistics thriller. That sounds awesome, right?
I love me some logistics thrillers. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes my job seem so much more exciting.
What can Brown do to you? I don't know. There's that. I think it's Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi.
Siffy,
Put out.
yes.
Yeah,
Give it its proper pronunciation. Fucking
It's
wise, god damn it.
it's called Z Nation, and I think it's
I think I have seen that one around.
the one that totally acknowledges that it's being dumb and over the top, but it actually is kind of funny. That one's worth watching. I mean, it's sort of if The Walking Dead was well, not written well because nothing on Syfy is written well, but written, accurate or adequately with tongue in
You're
cheek.
right about that though. About Syfy. Yeah, that's just some shit and a half.
I just don't even fucking watch cable anymore. Like, there's so many of those stations have gone so downhill over the years. AMC, I think I ever watch like when the show's coming out, and that's not even been that much since Breaking Bad's been over all that time.
The only stuff that I've given a flying fuck about that's been on television have been Hannibal, which I still haven't caught up on.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Huh?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Cinematography, and a lot of there's a lot of archetype. There's a lot of archetyping in it. Look for details because there are interesting things about it where every one of the characters has a signature piece of apparel. And I won't give it away until at least 2 more of you have watched a couple episodes.
It's a bow tie and a fez, isn't it?
It's actually much more detailed than that.
2 fezzes?
But there are some very unique. Yeah, that's right.
Fezception.
Double fez.
But it is actually very fascinating though for some of the stuff they do like that. Plus the writing is good, and basically the author is in control of the story. And he said, you know what? I didn't put enough detail in this shit before, so let's fix that. It's actually really, really nice.
So
the other shows
retcon it the whole time?
No, he basically simply expanded on what he originally did. And I guess I suppose you could say he retconned it, but if he did, it's the most elegant retcon I've ever seen. So much as he really filled in a lot of gaps, because when you've got 3 books and you have the whole crux of, yes, he's a psychiatrist and he eats people and he got caught. Talk about fast tracking what should have been an intrigue story.
Yeah.
So he takes care of that.
Well,
you get the entire run-up before getting caught.
Well, I mean, nothing is Game of Thrones here in terms of like book to TV translation, and like even Game of Thrones strays left and right. I don't think it's probably possible to have the same thing. You just kind of take the concept and run with it and try and hit some of the same story beats and leave the dumbass story beats behind.
Well, that's no shit. This one definitely takes care of a lot of that, but of course it's being handled by the same author, so it makes sense.
That's Thomas Harris, right?
Do what?
Thomas Harris.
I think so. Yeah.
I saw it had been on Amazon a couple of seasons. I think are up, and I thought, I know a couple people who like that. I should watch it, and then I just moved on to this other dumb shit.
There, I'll just ask Kat. Kat'll know. Kat and Mads, they'll have an answer. That's what I thought. Thomas Harris. Okay.
Yeah, Thomas Harris.
So that's Z Nation. It's got the oh god, I forget. You guys remember the super young looking cop who arrested Badger in Breaking Bad? The guy, the real Ichabod Crane looking guy.
No.
Oh god, you're breaking my brain right now trying to think of that
You'd
scene.
know him if you saw him. At any rate, he's
I'm sure I would.
He's in that. He's pretty good. There's another show, a movie on Netflix called Contracted, which is this chick contracts zombieism as a STD.
Oh boy.
Oh.
We're back to zombie fucking.
Hold on. Hold on. At least we know she puts out.
And it's sort of, it's not, I mean, it's a zombie movie, but it's not a zombie movie. It's sort of more like, it reminds me of The Fly more than anything, because it's her changing over the course.
Yeah, it's her dealing with her change.
Real cool. There's a sort of low-budget movie, State of Emergency, that I'm not going to go too much into. Suffice to say, it seems like a unique take, and it's not overblown, and it's just a couple people, and it's not them arguing in a house like Night of the Living Dead, like everything else is.
Right.
And then lastly, there is a movie called Steak Land, as in wooden, not meat.
Yeah.
And,
Steak Land. Nice.
It's kind of, I'm sure they took a lot of cues from Zombieland, but it's sort of, it's people trying to write super badass stuff, and they kind of accidentally fall into it, sort of backwards, and ends up being a real, well, I don't know if I'd say a real good movie, but if you're looking for something sort of horror that's not awful or schlocky, it's worth watching.
It's accidentally kind of fun.
Yeah! Yeah, in spite of itself. Like, it doesn't have a huge budget, and it's trying. They are so earnest, and that is the easiest way to screw up your horror movie.
Oh yeah,
What?
it is.
They didn't, though.
There's a very sweet balance in between too earnest and too silly. Like is so easy to screw up in the mix on horror movies.
Yeah, they nailed it. Eh.
Oh man!
So,
Well, you really drove that right home, didn't you? Now,
well, why don't we just let it die? Huh?
but it never will.
Speaking of kind of unique takes on zombie stuff, I didn't write this in my topic list stuff, but I've been
Well,
reading.
fuck it, it's out. We're done. No.
That's
No, I'm switching it out, John. You can't stop me.
Burn it to the ground.
Nope. It's I'm reading a book called "The Girl with All the Gifts" right now, and I don't want to spoil too.
I love John's like. Pff.
What?
Huh?
Oh, John's hand gestures are cracking me up. She's like all flappy-handed.
Watch the live stream, people.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's called "The Girl with All the Gifts," and it takes place in London, so I don't know if the author's British or not, but I don't want to spoil too much on it, but it's basically it's from this little girl's point of view, at least at the beginning of the book, and she's been confined to a cell her entire life. She goes through this whole process. Every morning the guards come by and strap her into this chair very carefully and take her out, and she goes to a classroom setting and learns with a bunch of other kids with their that are strapped into wheelchairs with their necks like tied up and everything like that. And you slowly start to realize that her and all the other kids are zombies that for some reason have not lost their ability to think, and that these people are studying them, trying to kind of see why they haven't turned. So the world's in the zombie apocalypse state, but this little girl it takes place mostly in most of the chapters are in her point of view, and she's this near genius level IQ kid that's slowly kind of finding out what she is.
Was this before, like, did getting bit or infected or whoever turn her into a genius, or was she already a genius?
That's
Or
never
do we
really
not know?
explained. We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know yet.
I love that. That's a great premise. I got bit by a zombie. Now I'm smart.
See, it never goes into. She can't remember anything before she got into the school whatsoever. Like they basically have a list of names that they just go down the list, and each new kid that comes in, they just give them a flat, just a name.
Wow.
And the kids, retain their wits about them and everything like that, as long as they don't smell human sweat. Like, so the people that are handling them have to wear this stuff they call e-blocker, that's this really heavy chemical smell, so that the kids don't smell human flesh, because the fungus that has turned them into zombies, it's one of those origin stories of kind of like The Last of Us, going with parasitic fungus, but that takes over when they smell.
Honestly, I find that shit creepier.
So several things have entered my brain. One, like the only time I can remember about talking zombies is Marvel Zombies and iZombie.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I've never seen the dumb Schwarzenegger Last of Us movie that I kind of want to see.
There's a Schwarzenegger Last of Us movie?
Basically, I don't remember what it's called, but basically his daughter gets bit and is going to turn into a zombie, but everyone kind of lives with zombies nowadays, so it's just kind of him accepting that his daughter is going to die soon.
Ellie's like, fucking zombies.
Yeah, there was another one. It had Charles C. Riley, I think. I gotta find the name of it. Hold on. Dog amongst yourselves.
So many zombie things.
Many zombie things. But
Zombie's really good too.
I want to watch that show, and I really want to read the comics. I never picked them up when they were hitting the shelves originally. And I always do.
It is called Life After Beth, and it's got
Jesus Christ,
that sounds like a breakup movie.
Yeah.
It's got the brunette chick from Parks and Rec, the weird looking one, or the one who gives weird looks, rather. Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza. Okay, yeah.
And John C. Riley are in it.
Yeah.
And that one is a straight up comedy with some real fucking nuts scenes and stuff. But generally, it's a comedy. But yeah, there's some real bloody shit in there. That one was funny though. That's a different sort of take.
So the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie I was thinking of is called Maggie.
Maggie.
Okay.
But
That's yeah, I remember that.
it'll require him to be able to act, so that's probably a terrible movie. But I've heard it's actually okay.
Constantine was great. That had Keanu Reeves in it, so
I'm like one of the few people that loves Constantine.
I loved Constantine.
I enjoyed Constantine. And also, let's also think about this though, was Jimon Hunsu was Papa Midnight.
I don't know who that is, but I know him when I see him. Like I didn't recognize him from anything else, but I remember him being real cool in that. And Peter Stormare is Lucifer. So there's that.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so we are talking about the movie. Yeah, I actually like the Constantine movie too. A lot of people really got pissed at that since he wasn't blonde and British, but I don't know.
Bisexual.
Like Keanu Reeves post Bill and Ted, I think is an okay actor. Like he was kind of shitty in Devil's Advocate, but it was still a good movie.
It was a very clever movie, I thought.
Yeah, has a great sex scene in it.
The problem was his fucking accent. He's trying to do this goddamn hick accent, and he can't do it worth a goddamn, and just needs to not do it. But
well, he's not a good actor. Let's get that straight.
Actually, I disagree. I've seen him recite Shakespeare like a boss before.
Well,
he's
kind of
really
made
good
for
at picking
Shakespeare
roles.
a little bit more, which is funny.
Have you seen Point Blank? Because I really believed he wanted to fuck that surfer.
Or, okay, let's do this one. What about John Wick?
It. I haven't watched John Wick yet.
Oh, you're fired!
Okay,
get out.
John Wick was great, but really the only piece of real acting in that movie was when he was strapped to the chair and screaming.
Yeah.
Like, the rest of the movie was just him looking, like, dour and angry and killing people. And
let's not forget, though, that the two directors of that show were originally stunt guys, and they could not stop commenting about how he learned all the stunts. They had a stunt double that barely got any work.
I have a really good story about work. A bunch of people have been arguing with because everybody at work loves John Wick. I haven't seen it. I know enough about it, though. I've had the plot explained to me somewhat, so I know what it's about. But they were arguing with one of my coworkers who just watched it, and he hates it. And they were like, "How the hell can you hate that movie? That's the best movie ever." And he was just like, "It's just Keanu Reeves killing a bunch of people." And they're like, "But yeah, like
that's all you need." Yeah,
that's all you need. But it turns out he didn't watch. Like, he came to it late and missed like the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Which is the only part with any plot.
Yeah, which is the only part with it, because everybody's like, "Of course you hate the movie because you missed the whole point about why he's killing everybody." So it is just literally Keanu Reeves killing people for fucking know.
I have it on Blu-ray over here, and I need to watch it because Dominique's boyfriend and I were discussing this, and if you pay attention, the subtitles give you a second story.
Oh, I like this.
Not even kidding, because the subtitles change color. Certain words will be highlighted in a different color.
Is that just to designate who's speaking?
No.
Okay, so
it's in the middle of a sentence. One word gets a different color. Like every time.
So Mark Danielewski did the subtitles for this movie, then.
Yes. However, in particular, wait. In particular, I'm pretty sure that a conversation he has with a bouncer told us how many people were going to die from that point forward.
You know, I remember it now. I didn't have all the subtitles on, but for when people are speaking something other than English, yeah, it does have that, and it was real cool.
Yeah, that's true, because they do have that moment where they're speaking Russian for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and every time they talk about John Wick, he is called Baba Yaga, but every time it's a different color, but other words, and if you follow on with all the shit that changes color in the subtitles, there's actual subtext to the story.
Okay, that's pretty rad. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again with like a
and
notepad.
There's also I'm gonna ruin a detail for people, but since it's already been out for a while, it's not super ruining things. Did you notice the coins he was paying for at the hotel? Paying for the hotel with, rather?
I mean, they were using them as a plot point, but I just thought it was their MacGuffin.
I had this explained to me by a friend of mine I trust on this one, because he's He's really into his details. Those, and I found out this much is correct, those are Cougar Rands. Old gold South African currency.
Okay.
But the significance is that throughout the 90s, the 80s and the 90s, the contract killer community of the world used the Cougar Rand as their currency of choice.
That was their Bitcoin.
Yes. Very literally it was. And you would actually be able to know who you were dealing with in shady deals if he dropped a Cougar Rand on the table.
Okay, guys.
That's pretty cool.
I got a movie proposal for you. So, hitmen in Hollywood use bitcoins
Oh no.
to...
Just-
No.
server
They make their own currency. It's called Hitcoin.
Oh, Jesus
Ooh,
Christ.
yeah.
No, I was just going to say they use hit coins to target Kickstarters and determine which ones win and which ones lose.
They're like the Illuminati.
Yeah, so
Games that
Kickstarter.
probably won't.
I'm using Family Guy humor here. I'm literally just pasting things together.
Together.
Well, how many seasons is that fucking thing been
And
on
you,
now?
my friends, are obligated to laugh at. Okay.
Right.
Well,
Go to his
that
GoFundMe
was a
page
little
and
And support our
us money.
Patreon, and yeah, no.
So, Scott, you were talking about, we were talking the other day, you said you got a beta to Supernova. Have you been playing it at all?
I had been, but I've gotten waterlogged with a bunch of other crap going on, and so I have not lately. And worsening that, I tried logging in last night when I had a furniture refinishing project completely go to shit on me. I was like, okay, I need to do something else for a minute, and it didn't log in anymore. I don't know what the hell happened with the server, but it does not fucking like me right now. I'm going to try it again later.
Maybe there's a new client. I've played like one or two games of it. I gotta say, I don't see that pulling me away from Heroes of the Storm.
Let's
Pause for a second, guys. What
Uh-oh.
is Supernova?
I have no idea
Supernova is a game that is technically in closed beta, but if you look at all the code, all the times the game runs, it's actually listed as being in alpha.
Well, what type of game is this? Is it a MOBA?
It's a MOBA.
It is a MOBA, but basically it is if StarCraft were turned into a MOBA.
Oh,
Well, that's
that's the
certainly what
Blizzard.
they're-
I thought.
No,
No,
that's
it's not
Heroes of the
Blizzard.
Storm.
no, that's Overwatch or whatever. Is that what you're talking about? Or no?
Overwatch is what Blizzard is doing. And then you've got, but no. Literally, these guys are basically fanboying the shit out of StarCraft into a MOBA.
Okay, but they already have a fucking StarCraft MOBA.
Well, the Bandai Namco has made a new one.
Yeah, it's sort of the aesthetic, and there's a lot of mechs and stuff like that.
You sold John already. No?
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about these mechs. Are these Japanese mechs like Gundams? Because this says Bandai Namco.
Bandai Namco?
Whatever. They keep
Bandai
changing it. I don't give a shit.
Harakiri, something.
No, it's actually not typical giant Japanese, like, don't think Veritech.
So they
Or
don't
anything.
have the Canadian Gundam in. That looks like a lumberjack.
Nope, no Canadian Gundam. No Gundams at all.
I'm out.
I'll put it this way, John. It's every bit the StarCraft aesthetic. For the way the place is laid out, it looks like it was a discarded StarCraft map. All that kind of shit. But you don't get any giant mechs. But you can tell they're kind of reaching, because so far the deadliest motherfucker I've encountered in that game actually looks like Anubis, complete with a pharaoh's headdress. But he has an English accent, and that motherfucker just clears the area. The game is grossly out of balance currently.
I got some
That's
beta
what beta's
access.
for.
I actually got a couple of codes if you guys want them.
If I can't get mine working again, yeah, I'll totally take it.
Okay. Yeah, we were standing at the airport waiting to come back from PAX, and a dude saw us in all clearly, gaming shirts and whatnot, and walked up and gave us like 14 codes between the four of us, because he's the community manager there. So he was like, "Hey, take these guys." So
Awesome.
I got them if you want them.
Nice. I will say this much about Supernova. It's obviously beta, so it's out of balance. It's not done. It's going to be, I believe, free to play. But the thing that switches it up versus normal MOBAs is the fact that you know how you have minions and all of that shit. you can actually basically make minions a loadout. So you get to pick between 3 types of minions, and you can determine which ones you get. You can research them. You can bump their armor or their weaponry, and improve their range, all kind of shit like that. Let alone what you, as your own commander, as they call them, can do. And the character types that you can use as a commander is a very broad range.
Okay, real quick, so the leveling up on the only MOBA I've played is Dota 2. And
Okay.
I hated every minute of it. Okay, maybe
Honestly,
maybe hate is too strong a word.
See, I played
But-
League of Legends and I hated every second.
But-
see, and
So-
I'm the other direction. I've played League of Legends and I actually liked it, and I'll play more of it. But man, Dota 2 did nothing but piss me off.
So it's kind of building up to my question in that in Dota 2, if I remember correctly, and I probably don't, so Dota fans, don't write me hate mail. I don't care. The leveling up all happens per session. Like, it's not a permanent thing, and it's something you have to redo every single time.
There's aesthetic stuff you can unlock, but yeah, as far as the actual gameplay is concerned, it is all session to session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Supernova like that as well?
Correct.
Okay.
It seems like that. I mean, there was no shop as far as I remember.
No, I think they're working on one. I remember seeing a comment about it, but I think that they're not really feeling the shop enough to want to commit to it.
Well, that tech tree, that's what jumped out to me is that
Yes,
it's very intricate, and you can basically customize any class into anything that you want it to do.
yeah. In fact, I'm glad you said that because I fucking forgot about that. Okay, John, this might get your interest back a little bit, although I don't expect it to ever appeal to you on the whole. Your commander has a skill tree that is basically, think of Borderlands 2 skill tree with a little bit of, say, Marvel Heroes kind of dabbed on.
So I'm not I don't like the having to redo the skill tree every session, but for the sake of curiosity,
I think you can create like
is
macros.
the skill tree the same for every character, and you just start a different
No, it
place
is
on it?
not. It is
Okay.
different for the characters. Some of them have repeated functions, but it's not a one skill tree fits all.
So like you could turn a tank. I mean, I'm talking to my ass here, but the way the guy was talking to me about it, and I saw a little bit of this. I mean, I've only played like 2 or 3 games. Is ostensibly you can take a real tanky character and just turn it into a healer, and then the next game you play the same character, and now he's a sniper. So like, you never. The idea, I guess, is you never know what your opponent, the type of character he's playing when he picks that character.
Right, and
I
you also
gotcha.
can.
And-
You also can. Oh yeah,
I was just to say, and that also, I guess, would give you an advantage if you're playing with randoms online.
yeah. And there's also the fact that when you're dealing with this, you can find a comfort zone with a character type that, say, like you need someone that can take a lot of hits, but you change your idea on what you want to do from game to game. It'll help out there. But it also frees you up in some other areas because, like Dota 2 and League of Legends both, if you play a certain character, you're stuck. You have to go, like you pick the guy because you like the way that one looks and the way that one moves, but he's a jungler, and you're fucking stuck with a jungler no matter what he is, no matter what you do. He's gonna goddamn be a jungler no matter what. Well, you don't have to worry about that as much with this. It has
Every day I'm jungling.
nice. It has potential to be good, but it's early beta. So don't expect a lot out of what I have to say or what you would ever see out of it. But I do believe in people that are on the fence about MOBAs to actually get in and see if you can maybe steer this one to be a little more towards what you think or like about it.
See, I would, and of course, as is the resident Blizzard guy, Here's the Storm is just so much more accessible that I think if you're on the fence about it, that's the one to go with. But as far as people who like Supernova are going to fucking love Supernova. Like that's the feel I get from it.
Right, there's not going to be middle ground on it whatsoever.
No, I don't think there will. I agree. It's you're either going to like it or you're going to hate it. And I'll say this: so far, it's also not an easy fucking MOBA.
So
I got my ass handed to me by a bot.
You have a dozen of these fucking MOBAs out now. Like, What's to draw one MOBA player from one to another? Like, what are the perks that MOBA players look for in these
Well,
games?
unfortunately, that's the problem, is that they're having to create a new ecosystem for that very problem. Because if you look at the fine details that get into that go into things like League of Legends, and it turns out it is ridiculously detailed, then you're never going to pull them away.
Well, because they're
There's people
so
that are
pot
dedicated.
committed already.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, they
yeah,
got
so
3.5 years into these points and characters and stats and
Exactly.
upgrades and all that
Yeah.
shit.
They're
gonna move
invested.
'em.
So the
Well-
trick is that they're just going to have to find a whole new player base that hasn't gotten into MOBAs yet.
Well, and one thing that
And hopefully they'll find a nicer player base that isn't in the MOBAs yet.
God,
and
yeah.
one thing that all these games
That
have
community
got
sucks.
to go going for them, and I realized this the other day about Warframe 2, is the moment you put money into a free-to-play game, you are automatically more committed to spend time with it.
Yeah.
Loyalty, yeah.
As you yourself have exemplified quite a bit, John.
Well,
Well,
Warframe's a really good game.
You look at any of the free-to-plays, though, and it's... Yes, there is the money factor. That's sure going to keep you bought in. But the way they set them up is for, people who don't want to actually kick in money. The other way to obtain stuff in the game is by putting a bunch of time in. So people are going to say, if I've been playing Here's the Storm for 2 months, and I have this beta invite for Gigantic, which is like, it kind of looks like Smite. It's going to be on Xbox One. I haven't looked into it yet. It looks neat, but I have to throw away all that time. I mean, because really you can only play one of these sort of at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to be juggling a whole bunch of them.
Well, it's like trying to play more than one MMO. Like, you
Yeah,
can't do it.
do it.
Yeah.
That's why those game types I try to stick away from anymore, because I just don't have the time to put into them, and if I do have the time to put into them, it's to the exclusion of everything else, because they really are very demanding on your time effort you put into them.
John beat me. I'm looking at the chat thread there. Because Warframe has taken up way the fuck too much of my time.
With that, yeah.
I'm sorry. I will go to bat for that any day, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I don't
around and
really
talk
have it-
about that this session. That
Yeah,
that
I don't
will-
really. Yeah, because you
This
had
time.
that thing.
I have talking about it everywhere, and I'll just wait for the next update. And when that hits, I'll grab Jake here, who fucking hates the game, and make him watch me play the new one.
So does that mean that we're gonna get Warframe of Mind again?
I don't want to do a weekly session. I don't.
No, it doesn't
I
have to
think-
be weekly, but on occasion
I
feature
think
it because
too many people kind of hate me talking about it, so I don't want to. I don't want to
Don't
create
encourage
that encourage that association. It's a game I love. I want to play it.
Here's the nicest thing I have to say about Warframe. It's not Destiny.
Oh boy!
Destiny has really.
Spoiler alert! I'm not buying the Taken King tomorrow. So
Oh, yeah?
I'm not buying it tomorrow. They might rip me back in.
I gotta tell you that. Have you seen that fucking advertisement that they did?
Oh, what have I done?
That pulls in. Yeah. This is your fault, Jason.
This is all your fault, Jay-Z.
That pulls in the fucking your Guardian into the trailer.
I saw you post that, and I haven't. I haven't gone through and actually done it with any of mine yet.
Like, that is just like advertising at its A+ peak. Because me, who has been like, I'm not buying this fucking DLC, like for literally a month straight, just fighting off Randy left and right, and then this trailer comes up. I'm like, shit, I kind of want to play this, but no, I am broke. I have no money. I am living off
the only
credit.
thing that keeps me the thing that keeps me coming back to that freaking game is just the amount of people who bought it. Like, I just had so many people to play with all the time, and that was really attractive in a game. And I've said it before, but that really colored my interpretation of the whole game. So I was willing to overlook a lot of the faults with it just because it was social outlet for me.
Well, there's Rocket League right there.
Yeah, exactly, and Rocket League is completely kind of taken over that now. Like,
That was a good bridge across. I liked that.
That
That was nice.
Way to point it out, Scott. And
Yeah.
Randy. Thank
I
you.
know shit.
Let's just come
John,
step my
did you
fucking neck.
what the fuck, John? You suddenly think this is a new thing? I always point out the segue.
No,
No, I forgot. That's exactly what he does every time.
make funny noises. It's cool.
Uh-huh.
Scott wrote John. Anything that you go through and try to do, John, Scott will find a way to destroy it.
Find a way to put you in the
if it's
shower.
not that great, then bet your ass.
He will put you in the shower with your dad to play Rocket League.
Wow.
Oh, God. Play Pocket Rocket League.
Oh.
But anyway, yes, that has taken over all of my Destiny time, which I really needed something to kind of get me away from it anyway, because it was getting ridiculous.
The thing about Rocket League is it's week to week. We play over on the TVGP forums on Wednesday nights, and from week to week we have the best time, and just like the coolest stuff happens, and you can't explain it to anyone with words.
No, and like we were playing it for a little bit over at my house before we were watching. I had a Mad Max view party, and afterwards I sat down and played Rocket League, and still, even all the girls were just like, "This is like watching fishing," and I'm like, "What the hell are you even?"
Well, because it's not even really that compelling to watch either on video.
Like unless you played it, it's one of those things. Like it's kind of like golf in that respect. It's a little more exciting than golf, I think. But like golf is never really fun to watch unless you're actively playing golf.
What gave it away? The explosions?
Yeah, exactly. The explosions. It's like golf with explosions. It actually kind of feels like pool with exploding cars is what I kind of think of it as. But it is such a compelling game, and the thing that's really deceptive about it is it's the rounds are only 5 minutes long, so you never feel like you're gonna put a huge time chunk into it, but you always end up putting a huge time chunk into it. It's like eating an entire bowl of M&Ms, like one at a time.
Well, that's why it's so easy to drop 90 minutes on it. When I could go play 2 Heroes, maybe 3 Heroes of the Storm games in that amount of time, but it's sort of that discrete. You can get up and walk away every 5 or 10 minutes if you want to, and come back to it and go do something else. And
and it's really it's those very small little chunks. I think that's what's so addictive about it. It's the control screen. Like if you played driving games before, you know immediately how to play. Like the only thing that's a little bit different is the rocket. Like rocketing off the ground takes a little bit of practice to get used to. But you can immediately drop somebody into it and they can figure out how to play. But there is so much skill involved in it in the long run that it takes forever to be able to master actually playing well. And there's a ton when you actually get a full party full of people, like strategy becomes a really big key component. The only thing I wish they would make it a little bit more obvious and a little bit easier to get the voice chat across everybody at the beginning of a match when you're playing in pug groups, because nobody ever knows that they can actually either turn the push to talk off or actually enable just talk all the time, and that would be really helpful for playing.
It would be, but that's not how I like playing Rocket League with Randy's online. I like sort of just reading everyone, and sure, it's probably not as effective, but that game moves so quick and it's so responsive and stuff that you can.
It's funny because I'm listening to this, and what you basically just described is the driving game version of, say, like Monday Night Combat before they fucked it up.
Yeah. It's almost the same aesthetic.
Oh, okay. Now I have to go get it.
Yeah, you need Scott. It's so much fun. Have you seen any videos of anybody playing?
Yep. Yeah. Again, my daughter's boyfriend. He and I both were looking at it, and he's like, "This looks incredible." I went, "It looks dumb, therefore it looks fun."
It sounded like when I downloaded it, it looked. I was like, "This is the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever seen." It's rocking for soccer.
I can't say shit because Dominique and I, when she was little, she and I used to play on the original Xbox this game called Cell Damage.
Man.
Yeah.
And it was stupid, and it was chaotic as fuck. I mean, my God, you had a duck with a big yellow hat driving a car that had a punching glove on the front of it.
Yeah, it was a cell shaded kind of goofy twisted metal, basically, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of twisted metal, Sweet Tooth is an unlockable car in Rocket League.
It is also free. Twisted Metal is free with PS Plus on PS3.
Oh, is
this
it?
month. Yep.
Shit. I miss Twisted Metal. I used to love the shit out of that game.
Yeah, you really can't go home.
Mhm.
It's not great.
I'm sure it's not. I bet it's not.
It controls
It
for
does
shit.
not. I remember the controls being shit, even like through my gilded memories of it. I still remember the controls being shit.
Anyone
Yeah.
else feel pretty bad for David Jaffe? Like, he made God of War, and like I know Twisted Metal has its fan base. I never played a Twisted Metal game, but like, he just seemed like this entrepreneur, and then he just turned into this guy that would occasionally say shit that would drive the fucking press crazy. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple of good hits, but then, that's also when you decide to get mouthy, you sort of get what you deserve.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with a lot of his mouthy shit.
I can't. I'm not saying I can remember any of his individual comments. I'm just saying when you put yourself out to the media like that, especially with that kind of audience, you're gonna get some feedback, and you got to recognize that.
Yeah, I guess that is true, because
gotta
that is going to
recognize.
be.
That's fair.
He's going to say those offensive things, and then they're going to consider it too when they write whatever review they do.
But what else? I have a couple gripes though. Playing, and I've been playing a lot of Rocket League, and I've been playing a lot with just randoms. It's actually kind of rare that I've actually have a full party of people. And I wanted to give really quick a couple of things that I wish I would see more people. Oh, hold on a second. I fucked up my volume. I sat on my volume.
Yeah, you did.
But- yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Turn that shit all the way up. But number one is it's like soccer. You start out each kickoff. You start off at certain positions, and nobody. It's after playing for more than 5 minutes, you kind of get the idea that it is kind of the norm for whoever is the furthest back to play goalie, to play defense. And fucking, it's a big noob mistake that nobody ever fucking plays goalie when they're put that back spot.
It is very easy to just do a nice soft lob right over everybody
Right
coming
over
in
everyone else's head
into the
and
goal.
just fucking get into the goal and ace it if somebody's not there for goalie at the very beginning. You have to at least, if you start in the back, if it loads you in the back, fucking stay in the back for at least a couple until the kickoff's done. So that they don't just fucking nail it straight over your head.
Run up, get your first boost, and then just sort of back up and
Just back up and
let
chill.
it take
there
a
for
couple
few
of
minutes.
bounces.
Yeah. Like you can creep out after that, like that. But that's one thing is like no, that you definitely become a better player when you start to kind of respect or at least kind of take over a certain position, whether it be center field or goalie or something like that. And they have little built-in quick chat controls on the D-pad that you can go through and do to let your team know that you're defending if you don't want to turn on your push to talk or your auto talk with your mic and your headset. So announce yourself.
Also, though, it's very unobtrusive, which is good because thank God. But it's almost not noticeable because it's this tiny little piece up in the top left, and it makes like a little pook.
Yeah.
Pook.
Yeah, you have to look for it. I always look for it at the beginning of the kickoff to see if to make sure somebody is acknowledging, hey, I'm defending, so I know I can go for it and not have to fucking watch.
Well, I forget what all those things are all the time.
I do
Every
too.
time I start that game up, I have to go through 4 menus to find the one I'm looking for.
There's a couple of them that are muscle memory for me, like nice shot and defending are like the two that I always do. So those are just automatic for me anymore. But that's one thing is play fucking goalie if you start in the back, and also not 4 people do not need to go into a corner trying to get the ball. Like I can't count how many times that is really fucked up and either ended up with the ball getting cleared or a bad goal because or a missed opportunity because somebody centers it right up at the goal and there's nobody there to hit it in.
Yeah, there's a reason you don't see 8 hockey players all at the corner of the ice,
Right at the same
trying
time.
to kick the puck out.
Yeah. But yeah, those are my 2 main gripes, and that's 2 things I think people could really do a lot better if they're actually wanting to play decently. But John, why aren't you playing Rocket League?
I have it installed.
John.
I was gonna play with you
Good.
guys the other night, and then it turned out I lied to you earlier, and I never
Yeah,
installed
and you didn't have it in.
Like, I thought I queued it up to fucking download on my PS4, but I played so very little PS4 lately that I guess it just never took. But like, I mean, the game I had been playing is Toy Soldiers War Chest. You guys heard of this at all?
I
Really?
watched a couple
Yeah,
videos on it. Like
I saw it,
looks
but
like
it didn't-
nostalgia porn.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I've been debating this all day on like. It really is kind of a middle ground game in that it's a tower defense game, so automatically it's a negative in my book. I fucking hate
that one. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I hate tower defense games, but it put like the DLC for it, which you can buy if you buy the War Chest package, which was like $30. Like the base game's $15, and then it's 4 DLCs, which are $5 a piece, or you just pay $30 and get everything.
And they're like actual licensed characters and stuff,
Yes,
right?
you have He-Man, you have G.I. Joe, you have Cobra, and Assassin's Creed, because it's an Ubisoft game.
Yeah, so why not put fucking Assassin's Creed in
God,
there?
they couldn't pick any fucking thing more interesting than. I mean, that's one. Anyway.
It's like the last stamp when it comes out of Ubisoft. Like, it's just that Assassin's Creed symbol is the last thing that hits everything that ships out that door. Because we're already
Damn,
using
it's
stamps.
true.
We're
Well, and
putting it
they're-
out every year.
They are aware who their most popular character is because, like the shtick with each group is you have a big hero you can summon after you've killed so many guys in a certain time period, and Ezio is the guy you summon if you're Assassin's Creed. So.
I
That was
have
good.
I have Black Flag sitting on my boner because it was the free
Yeah.
games with Gold a couple of months ago.
Me too.
Have not started it up.
Me
I
too.
bet I'd like it. I've heard real good things about it. I'm so. The only Assassin's Creed game I ever played was 2 because everyone was raving about it. That was back when I worked at Blockbuster, so I rented it for free. Just sort of, I didn't think I was gonna like it, but maybe. And I played for probably 45 minutes and went, meh. And I kind of
See,
haven't.
I
heard
loved
since.
2. I thought 2 was great.
2
But,
is-
like I haven't played anything as much as I've played 2.
2 is story-wise my favorite one. Mechanically, I think Brotherhood was probably my favorite. Like, you could argue that, I forgot what the one was called after Brotherhood, but that one probably had, like, slightly better mechanics, but it just was such a one-for-the-money game that it just didn't, it really lost all its appeal, like, but...
I just, and it's probably for the same reason that I haven't picked up Metal Gear Solid 5, even though it looks like there's so much goddamn fun stuff you can do in that game. I haven't picked that up. I didn't pick up Mad Max. I'm probably not going to play Black Flag anytime soon because
I
that
wanna
same
pick up
thing I
Mad
was
Max.
saying before. That I don't want to allocate 2.5-hour chunks of time. Like, what's the name of what we're playing? Vanquish. That's the game club.
Yeah,
Was it Vanquish or Vanquished?
Vanquish. No
Okay.
ED.
No ED. You're damn right, no ED.
Oh, wow.
Was that an erectile dysfunction joke?
It was.
Yeah,
It was.
okay, I was just wanting to make sure. I was
Yes, it was.
You know, if you vanquish in the shower...
With
vanquish
I did-
everywhere. You can't vanquish for your wife. You know.
To be fair, I did spell it out this time.
You did literally again.
That whole game, I think I was reading is 4 or 5 hours.
Um,
So
Well, I mean, if you get it right the first time, sure, it's 4 or 5 hours. Realistically, you're probably going to spend 8 hours in it, but yeah.
okay, I can live with that. Red Dead was our last game, and I mean that's a 70, 80-hour game. Like I have too much other stuff I'd rather play. You
The
know,
whole time I was listening
It's
to
a-
that cast, I was like, yeah, Nintendo represent. I'm not a Red Dead fan.
Okay,
But-
well, I'm going to say this much: is that you comment like that, but think about some of the people you're conversing with here. I've got 200 plus hours on Civilization 5, and I still haven't actually completed a single goddamn game in it.
Jesus.
oh, I have.
I've got all the expansions, and so every time the expansion happened, I'd start a new game, going, "Ooh, new stuff," and then bullshit
I have-
would happen.
Probably 600 hours in Binding of Isaac. I have 500 in Civ 5. Like, I get it. I'm not in that place right now where I want to allocate chunks of time
yeah.
and go, this is going to be my Saturday, you know?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm broke to the extent where I have my games planned out for the fall. And as much as I want to play Mad Max, I've never really played a Metal Gear, although I own them all, but an open world Metal Gear where I get to pick my helicopter landing music, and I get to have a dog with an eye patch. Like, I really want that game.
I keep on seeing people like are they parachuting weird stuff or hopaloon? I
It's
keep on
called
seeing some
Fultoning.
Fultoning.
Yeah, they basically just put it on. Yeah, it flies up into the sky and floats there, and then you come retrieve it from other base. It's like you can get goats at your base or whatever.
That's appealing. Like I'm eventually gonna get this shit, but I don't. It's gonna have to wait for a Steam sale because I am super broke this fall, and
we need to get it on Steam because that's where you can customize your helicopter music.
Yeah.
Because I want that fucking helicopter showing up blasting danger zone. That has to happen.
And it's a game that takes place in the '80s, so all the music's in the game is gonna be from the '80s. Anyway.
God.
But, anyway, speaking of the '80s, back to War Chest. Like this is such a weird game. It's literally you have your base you're defending. You have designated points that you can build a gun turret, a missile turret, an anti-air turret, or I forgot the last weapon's called, but it's basically a ground.
It's another turret.
Yeah, it's another ground defense turret that kind of catapults shit.
Is this basically primarily multiplayer or more single player?
It has single player and multiplayer. I have not tried the multiplayer yet because I'm just going to get slaughtered. But
it's probably pretty clear which way they were leaning when they were sort of making it. Does it seem like they meant it to be more of a single player and tacked on the MP, or get it, MP?
Well, so far the single player is entirely defending, so I don't know how a player-based offense would work in the game. So to that degree, it doesn't make sense to me. Like the one mission, let me think. Like they have a big campaign mode I've been going through to get used to it, and they very slowly introduce you to new concepts in the game, which are kind of sometimes painfully slowly. But occasionally they'll have an offshoot mission that's just survive as long as you can, and like the difficulty difference between that and the regular game is just extremely absurd. Like when I played that mission and just was dead inside like a minute or two, and this is like, you know,
I thought you were saying dead inside.
It did sound that way.
When you're dead inside, it's like, Jesus, is this good? Is this really a good game or not?
I chose
just for a minute or two.
I chose Cobra as my battle type to try and remember myself as a child, but
Do they have, like, I know this would be asking a lot, I'm sure they don't have the original voice actors, but do they actually try and sort of, did they get people to try and mimic the voices that were on the cartoons back in the day?
Yeah, the guy who did the voice acting for Cobra Commander's dead, like, so that's why you haven't heard him pop up as Starscream or Cobra Commander in the last decade, but
I did not realize that.
yeah, oddly enough, he was supposedly like a comedian or some shit, and just off chance did those two voices and kind of just had that one voice he kept doing. But like the parts of the game I like are literally the nostalgic parts. Like if you don't like He-Man, G.I. Joe, or Cobra, then I don't think you can like this game. But like when you're playing Cobra and you like summon Cobra Commander, it starts playing the old 80s fucking weird ass jazz battle music that G.I. Joe had. Like you forget that they had all this weird orchestra thing to G.I. Joe. But
do they have red and blue lasers? Like depending on what faction? Like instead of bullets?
I can't confirm that because I haven't tried G.I. Joe. What they do have is, for instance, for the missile defense on Cobra, you're literally playing a toy. The toy has a red plastic missile with the little pegs on the side that plug into the fucking toy. I mean,
that's great.
I'm watching a multiplayer YouTube right now just to see what the hell it is, and it looks like you take turns attacking and defending, and you just.
I think you buy troops or something, probably.
Yeah,
right?
I think the attacking people, I think, just deploy troops out.
Yeah, it's kind of it's such a weird, like it almost feels like an indie game in a way, but like a lower quality indie game. Because the gameplay is literally, you know, you lay out your turrets, you upgrade your
tower
turrets,
defense.
and then you repair your turrets. Your repair cost goes up the more you upgrade your turret. And you earn more money whenever you take control of a turret and shoot things yourself. And it's just this really, really weird balance. Like, from what I can tell, the different factions have turrets that function slightly differently, and they have different ultimate powers. Like for Cobra, you have 3 tiers of power. Your first power is you summon Cobra Commander, and he gets a laser pistol, he gets a grenade, and I forgot, he gets something else. But basically he gets something that can damage soldiers, something that can damage tanks, that type of thing. But then you level it up to your second tier, and now you can summon a plane. You can go around and dive bomb stuff. Outside of the main missions, you have an upgrade tier where you can upgrade all your troops and upgrade the levels you can go to. They threw in this weird free-to-play aspect of it, where at the end of every game, if you've leveled up, it will give you a grab bag box, which literally puts like a Cobra box like in front of me, like I'm unwrapping a toy.
That's awesome.
And then you open it up, and it shows 4 coins, and they'll either translate into upgrades for your various things, or they will translate into money that you can spend on upgrades for other factions.
Now, if you don't spend money on any of the sort of special stuff, like the branded stuff, is this completely free to play?
No, it is $15 base
Oh, you
fee.
said that. I'm sorry. That's right.
No worries. I mean, it's really cheap, which is partly why I think I could recommend it, but at the same time, it's really mediocre. Like, it's... If you like Cobra and G.I. Joe and He-Man, like, for me, I was grounded as a child for He-Man, so it's going to be hard for me to speak. Only God is the master of the universe. Anyway, it's...
I thought you were just running around the neighborhood shirtless with a 4-point harness on.
That was really it. I really just walked around in my underwear with 2 belts strapped around my chest.
Yeah.
Well, now you're an adult. You can do that whenever you want.
I can't.
Right.
I should
Well,
go do that.
if
So
you don't
next
like
cast
to put
will
on
be
sex-
never after I do this, because I will be arrested for showering with my dad.
Your 2 belts.
I'm driving that joke into the ground.
It's really going down the drain to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, down the drain. Right in your dad's ass.
Whoa! Why'd you have to go there?
You shouldn't have. You
escalated.
should have said no when he asked if you wanted to see Castle Grayskull.
Oh, that's so fucking gross.
Oh, that's so wrong. Wait for the drawbridge.
Guys,
Yeah.
I have the power.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Nope.
No, you don't. No.
Bring out the man of arms. And
Yeah. Manny faces.
She-Ra is nowhere to be seen because she's in an alternate reality.
Yeah,
No.
We don't need her here.
Man, that's a fucked up show. Anyway,
And
so,
you just made this the most awkward fucking transition. Do we even have anything to go to after that?
I don't. Well, it's mediocre. I like the game. I will probably play more of it. And Duke looks like an ever-loving douchebag in the game. I don't know how they...
Just like in real life.
Like, I don't think he looks that douchey in the cartoon. Like, they gave him this smug kind of grin thing he does. It is... Anyway, I'm sorry.
I do want to point out that Joey said he looks like that, quote, in real life.
Yes.
So
Well, no, it is in real life in my memory.
someone's having a disconnect. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
That's fine.
He was played by Channing
I have
Tatum.
no. What?
He was played by Channing Tatum.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
And I still
Like I
can't
said-
help but calling him Channing Tater.
Well,
I always think Channing Tatum.
soon he
tainted
will
him.
be
You brought him.
Gambit.
Yeah. Well, I think he turned it down. Actually, I thought they had something.
Nope.
Something went on. Was that a rumor?
He did a what he did was do like a social media threat type thing to kind of pull some weight, and I don't know what he got out of it, but
I'm
That's
I'm
not
so tired of them trying to just like make Gambit cool again. Like he was cool in the '90s, guys. We're done. Like we're not gonna fix that.
he was
I don't
cool
know.
when we were just into appearances, and now that we've grown up and realized that there needs to be depth in a person.
Yeah.
All I
This
can
whole-
do is point everyone to Pete Holmes' late night show and the X-Men series of little one-off skits he did of Professor Xavier firing everybody.
Literally, his
Yeah, those were
superhero
great.
stuff is the only good thing Pete Holmes has
Yeah.
done.
They basically
kinda
mandated that he have blue balls all the time. It's like, hey, we're gonna have you go out with this chick that nobody can touch. Knock yourself out, buddy. Have fun.
Yeah. Have fun.
Pretty much. But X-Men, EX-Men is fucking funny, especially when you get to the one when he has to fire Gambit, but also look for the outtakes.
I've
Because-
only seen a couple of those, but I remember them being real funny.
Oh god damn, that one because in the outtakes they had an extended bit where Gambit is trying to argue for his viability on the team. And and he's talking about how he can throw others stuff, and they get to this thing about being at a sub sandwich shop. And there's this bit of God who goes, and you're going to gambit, sandwich me, and I plop right in your mouth. And it's the fact that he says, and I plop right in your mouth. It's just
if I had a nickel.
Yeah, no shit. In fact, what am I saying? I'm on the interwebs. Okay, YouTube.
All right,
I'm just going to look that up.
Someone talk about some other bullshit.
I was going to say John like ruined everything on that one. I'm afraid. Yeah, I can't fix this.
That's what I do. That's
Only stuff I got left is all card games that I've been playing. First one is Nova Blitz, which is still an alpha.
Oh, I do have one after that.
And Nova Blitz, and let me clarify, because when I was talking to Hannah briefly on Twitter, like I said deck building game, and the way I've heard Nova Blitz now described, it sounds like a CCG.
It is. I haven't played enough about it. I mean, I played the shit out of it at PAX. I was there every day. And I've been following him on Twitter, but I haven't really stuck to it a ton since I've been home. So I don't feel 100% qualified to really talk about it just yet, because I've been spending all my time playing Hearthstone.
Yeah.
It's super awesome. I'm up to rank 13. I'm beating people's asses.
So I don't know what rank 13 means.
You start at 25. You can't drop until you hit 20. So 20 is sort of the baseline. And it goes all the way from 25 up to legend. But once you start hitting like 17, 18 is when people start to actually understand what the fuck they're doing.
So is rank determined by wins?
Yeah, it's their matchmaking.
Okay.
So like if you lose, if you go on a win streak, you might get 2 stars instead of 1 for beating 2 people in a row. And when you start out, the ranks all have like 2 or 3 stars until you go to the next one. Once you start getting into 15, 14, it goes up to 4 stars. And then as you lose matches, those stars start falling back off. So it's sort of a natural sort of matchmaking, so they aren't going to beat you over the head with someone who's got 40 legendary cards. You're not going to run into them. And what's cool about it, it's still not perfect, but they put in this this sort of leveling system where, if you get to rank X, whatever, let's say 16, in a season, which is every month is considered a season. If you get to rank 16, you'll get, 7 bonus stars to start out the next month, so you'll be at like 23 instead of 25. So the higher up you ended, the more stars you get, so the higher up you'll start again, which means you don't have these guys who were legends last month and, number 5 in the world just weighing waste to people just... Weighing laced? Laying waste to people who just picked up the game for the first week and a half of the month.
All right, guys, I gotta go. Sorry to do this. Well, Lauren is harassing me.
Oh, that's cool. I can talk about the extra stuff next week. It's just boring.
Okay.
Things.
Or I can get off and you guys can keep going. But
I was going to say, it's 9:30. We've been at it for probably close to an hour.
Yeah.
We can
It's about 40 minutes once you cut out the...
I'm cool with keeping going if you guys are.
Yeah, it's really 2 more minutes, so... yeah, I guess see you next week, Joey.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. All right, bye.
Yep, I figured that would happen.
As I bang into stuff too. That was good.
It's it's our first week doing this setup, so it was gonna.
It's okay. There may have been a shooting nearby here too.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay.
Not dead certain that's what I heard because it sounded more like fireworks, but there may have been yelling in advance of it. But of course, that also could be, "Hey, y'all, watch this," and then.
Yeah.
So don't know.
There's just I wanted to bring up a couple of the new features. It's not a new expansion per se, because it's a couple of weeks, maybe 4 or 5 old at this point. But there's a couple new types of cards. Have you guys both played Hearthstone at all?
I started and then I realized I don't care.
Honestly, I feel like I have a story to answer that question. It's very brief, but it's basically I played Magic in high school. I played HeroClix for years.
Yeah, you did.
I know my addictions and what's going to grab me, and I don't ever want to play CCGs again because I don't have the money for it.
Okay.
Well, I don't think I've spent any money in this game at all except to buy the sort of solo content stuff.
Wait, so you did spend money?
Yeah. I mean,
How
it
much?
was not the addictive. Oh, I got to get 6 more packs of cards.
Well,
That's a matter of opinion.
what's the card? How many cards are in the catalog?
Oh boy, 500-600 maybe. I'm probably greatly exaggerating there.
I love that. I was like, I'm probably full of shit.
Yeah, well, I've realized as I was saying it that I don't know. I mean, it's probably about 100 to or 150 to 200 in each sort of set, and even that maybe that's too big. And they've got 3-4 sets, so like 600 to 800, I think. But that feels like way too many cards. At any rate, the reason I ask is because I wanted to. In Magic, you just have your cards and your mana. In Hearthstone, each hero class has their own hero power as well. So one of the mechanics in the new, it's called the Grand Tournament, is there will be cards that have a keyword called Inspire on them, and when they're on the board and you play your hero power, they'll do something. So like they'll get +1/+1, or they'll deal 2 damage, or sometimes they make it so that your hero power doesn't cost anything, or. So that's one of their big things this time. And then the other one is a joust mechanic. So like you'll play a card that it'll say joust. And there'll be sort of kind of the same type of stuff. Gets +2/+0 in charge, gets Divine Shield and +2 armor, something like that. When you play it, it pulls a random card from both your and your opponent's decks. And if yours costs more than theirs, then the effect happens. So if it ties, it doesn't. So I don't know. It's cool stuff like that you can't really do necessarily.
Now you just make it sound like you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
I know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh. Maybe I am.
It sounds a lot like that. But that was the TV show, not the card game, because the card game was actually kind of crap.
I remember the show being on when I was coming home from college or something like that. But the only game I ever got into paper physical cards was Magic. So this whole thing is new to me still. Even after 18 or 20 months, I'm still loving it. So
it's a real popular game. It's I will probably honestly never play it, but
I'm not counting on you ever to touch it. Yeah.
I'm not much of a Blizzard fan, and I try and stay away from CCG type stuff just because I never do those in a healthy manner. Like it is so hard for me to enter an RPG and not try and get everything and max everything out. And usually I don't beat RPGs because I burn myself out trying to do that.
This would not be for you then. I mean, it's like I said, the only money I've spent on it, I think there were 2 $15 expansions, which had a whole bunch of solo content and bosses and hero modes and stuff that I liked. But
so how does the solo content work?
Did either of you guys ever raid?
It basically works like you're going to be forever single if you play this.
Way to pick the 3 generations old joke, Scott. Yeah.
Did you guys either ever raid at all in WoW? Did you even play it?
I have played WoW for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Oh God, WoW? No.
So
You see, I've stayed away from MMOs for a very similar reason, in that I know I'm not going to have a healthy relationship with an MMO.
Well, I'm supposed to actually play Guild Wars with my daughter and her boyfriend, but they're never on the line at the same time I am. So.
Well, that's why I quit playing really any of those, because it's just the people I knew either grew up and had kids or just aren't on at the same time anymore. So I quit. But a lot of the end boss stuff from the original game, and then the Naxxramas, which was the second expansion. It was in the beginning of the first. Suffice to say, you understand that there are end game dungeons. This solo content is basically you working your way, and they've taken those boss fight mechanics and applied them in interesting ways to the card game. You each in a regular game, you and your opponent each get 1 mana a turn, and then it just accumulates, so it caps out at 10. Like there will be a boss where you both only ever have 1 mana, but everything in your deck only costs 1 mana. Because I don't know, maybe in the regular raid he was he'd give you infinite mana or something like that. So it's just they do a real cool job of sort of working that stuff in. So I picked those up, but that's the only money I ever spent.
Okay. Well, and I guess just real briefly, I want to talk about Alias real quick.
I was going to say, because I actually do have
Sure.
one to cover, but okay, do your thing.
I mean,
do your thing.
Okay.
I mean, is it still? Are we still covering games?
Well, no, I was going to move on to a comic, but if you got a game, go for it.
I do. and I almost brought it up earlier because it's finally getting played, even though I've had it forever. And John, you probably already know what's coming, is the fact that I've finally made, with the help of Cat and Mads both, finally made progress on that damn game Fract OSC.
Huh? What is this?
Fract OSC. All right, so Fract, I really don't know why they call it Fract. OSC, however, is short for on-screen controller. It is a 3D puzzle environment game. Now, don't think Portal, but basically think of if someone was a bit of an asshole and decided, wouldn't it be neat if you were some nondescript creature that just found Tron's universe, but it was all about music, like you landed literally in a music synthesizer computer.
Yeah, that's what this is looking like. This is very Tron-ish.
It is, but it's for a reason, because you're covering puzzles basically teach you the fundamentals of grid sequencing and a certain amount of synthesizer programming, like voltages and signal chains and various bullshit like that, pitch, but it's so subtle that the complexities get missed. And I keep reading the reviews, and it's really weird that a lot of people that have complained about it don't seem to get how low-key some of the details are in this thing.
So this thing ostensibly really teaches you to program music. Is that what you're saying?
It gets your head used to the idea of modern electronic music. It won't teach you how to make it, but it gets the idea. It eases the idea in.
What you've shown, granted I haven't actually seen you play it, but from seeing the trailer and everything like that, it reminded me the most of, shit, I literally just looked up the name of this fucking game.
Antichamber?
Antichamber, yes.
Antichamber I'm going to play later.
That kind of trippy, kind of mind-bending, kind of 3D environment puzzle that never explains
It is not
itself.
about mind-bending. What it is it's about the subtleties of electronic equipment. And that's the trick, is that nobody catches on. Hell, even I missed out on some of the details, like certain synthesizers, they would have a synth patch. You have to get the grid sequencer to work right in order to get, charge these giant orbs of plasma or get these sliding gates to open in order. But they don't just require a note on and then up comes the gate. Certain ones require X amount of X length of note, and you learn that a bass note that sustains has a certain amount of heft that a short staccato bass note doesn't. Stuff like that. Are you just sort of unlocking doors with these puzzles, or you are unlocking access to more levels and more complex puzzles? But it's not just that. It also gets into weird abstract three-dimensional bullshit that makes it a little trickier to explain, because there is a three-dimensional cube puzzle where you're moving cubes around on grids, but depending on what platform you're standing on, this changes what color cube you're able to look at and manipulate, and it may be in a vertical plane while the other one was in a horizontal plane, or God help you, the same one you moved horizontally earlier, now you have to move vertically. Bullshit like that, dependent upon what stage of you solving the puzzle it is. And they make it where, and this is one we just discovered, because we should have been done with the game by now, but it wasn't finished. And turns out you can have imperfect success in this motherfucking game.
I'm sorry, you're gonna what? I'm looking at this on Steam, and it's got the color palette of Blood Dragon.
Okay, basically, yeah, no shit. Basically, yeah, it does. Think of a public electric company from the 40s or 50s, and all the damn dials, and you turn the switch and the electricity goes over here and all that kind of shit. They have synthesizer panels that big, and you're controlling individual oscillators that will tone out a note, but if you don't get the voltage right, it won't send the signal to the next note, therefore the puzzle isn't unlocked. Turns out that you can actually unlock the puzzle locally, but it's not a perfect solution, so it doesn't actually unlock the next puzzle after that.
Ugh.
And
I don't like that.
And they don't tell you. They just let you work it out for yourself. It's brilliant, But if you're not aware of that, if you're not actually cautious, it will kind of come back to haunt you.
Yeah, that seems like one of those things back in the day where, if you fed, in the adventure game, if you fed the bacon to the cat in screen 2, all of a sudden you couldn't finish the game. You find out 2.5 hours later.
Yeah, no, it actually is a very thorough game, and you can undo the mistakes of an imperfect solution.
Okay.
But I mean, give you an example here. I never beat the game. In fact, I never got very far because I would eventually get mad because I'm not thinking broadly enough of certain puzzles. So it's taken a team of us to actually work it out. I have managed to. The game is technically good for about an hour and a half total play if you know all the right moves and you just blast through it.
Well, so is Portal. I mean, you can burn through Portal in 75 minutes.
Here's my point. On here, I currently have 31 hours.
Whoa.
Keep that in mind.
Oh, it looks real dense here too.
It's pretty. It has some really good music, and I also found the composer. I think I found him on Bandcamp. I'll have to go back through and look.
I've heard of that.
I love Bandcamp. Yeah, well, John's on Bandcamp. It's a good website. In fact, I actually prefer it. But no, it's the game is. I've tried to write a review of that game 3 times now, and every time I've looked at it and gone, "This is shit," and I just can't do it. I have no idea what to say about it. Except I have to explain it like this. This is the best I can do. It's not simple. It's not intentionally hard, but it's not fucking taking you by the hand. And there are a couple bluffs in there where it actually will. We discovered that there's a series of platforms that each platform, it will sound off a note when that platform stack lights up, and you can move them up and down to get across the platforms to get to a totally different area.
Okay.
I thought that was a fucking puzzle. Turns out, no, the guy that created the game just put it in for fun. You son of a bitch! No, I fucking dwelled on that. I obsessed over that fucking thing.
Yeah, I was going to say
get the pattern right. It sounds so awful. And he's
that
like,
might be on you then. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, no, that was just a toy. Have fun. I was like, you suck.
Well, this explains how you can get 31 hours into this.
Yes,
thing.
it does.
Honestly,
And apparently,
every time you talk about this, and you're like, it's differences in voltage, and I'm like, that's calculus. That is literally calculus. Like, you're talking a differential equation or a fucking.
It's not quite that, but it's basically think of like
or something.
it is like hands-on. It's virtual hands-on analog synthesizers.
That sounds wonderful for anyone who's interested in that. I cannot picture that being accessible at all to someone like me.
Well, see, and just like you have the grids,
see,
and the grids, and you're limited to like how tall the grid is, tells you how many different notes you can get. It's just a matter of how many steps you put in it in a line. It'll be a one long note or a bunch of shorter ones if you do it that way. And so it eases you into a lot of the ideas. But it doesn't, it still, again, isn't going to baby you through it. But it doesn't make it, it doesn't just show you, here, have a Roland MC 505 and go.
Do you really think like most people are going to interpret it like you, though? Where they're going to look at it and say, oh, this is making a synth patch? Because most people aren't going to be into that. Most electronic musicians are not into making synth patches.
I'll say it like this. When you get into these synthesizer panels where you have to like redirect signal flow, you'll start thinking in those terms. But the others that are like just grid sequencing, you're just going to go. You're just going to click. You're going to click the little bricks and they light up and a note will happen or it won't and you'll figure it out. There are some clues in the first few sequencer grid puzzles where they're like a couple grayed, instead of being just black bricks, they're gray. And that's a clue to click those to put a note signal there and see what happens. And you get it worked out. But by the end of the game, the creator talked about it. There are 3 grand puzzles, and each one of them includes components of every other goddamn puzzle that you've been through.
Of course. That's how those games work.
Yeah, haven't reached that yet. So I may come back and say how much I fucking hate the game, considering how complicated that will probably become. But goddamn it, it's there. If you're into electronic music, it's worth playing. If you're into composition of electronic music, it's worth playing.
You see, I'm watching it, and like I'm just watching the part 1 whatever playthrough, and granted, I'm watching with no sound. So, and what it appears to me is he's going between platform, and literally a series of boxes will appear before him, and he'll just manipulate the boxes and go do something else.
Oh, the cube puzzle. Yeah, if it's the first one in the pink area, well, that is the pink zone because it's the cube puzzles. That's the first place they show up. That will activate an elevator that you ride to the top, and you have 2 or 3 grid sequencers up there that create complementary melodies to what's coming out of the cube puzzle downstairs.
That sounds very cool. To me, this is something I'll never pick up. I might, if you stream it, I'd probably watch that. But
it's actually fun just to dick with it. Although, once you fail to solve it after a good 15, 20 minutes, you get real sick and tired of that goddamn sound.
It's visually, it looks very cool. I'm really not a puzzle game guy either, though.
Well, neither am I, which is what makes it weird. I don't really...
I mean, it's kind of a miracle I played Antichamber at all, and I have no idea how far or not far I got in that game.
See, Antichamber looks fun. I liked the Stanley Parable. I need to play it again.
Does the Stanley Parable count? Because that's kind of a...
I will
sort of a walking tour.
Yeah, I don't think that's
fine.
a puzzle game. Like this.
It's kind of a brain puzzle, I felt. But okay, all right, fine. We'll pull that one back out.
It has the same sort of, not aesthetic, but sort of overall feel. So
it's a similar atmosphere.
Yeah, I can see why you could lump that.
Okay, they just walked by in this tutorial a sequencer puzzle, and I see what you're saying. It's a very basic sequencer, though. I mean,
exactly. That's what I'm talking about, is that they make it. But the thing is that what I haven't brought up yet is that as you solve puzzles, you unlock components of a master synthesizer set in what they call the studio, which is where every time you restart the game, like you save, and then you close the game out because you're tired or whatever, and you come back later, you will always start one level below this studio. And you have 3 synthesizers that are on big floating panels, very Tron-like. Not Tron Legacy, but Tron. Mm-hmm. And they're behind you, so you have to turn around and right-click, and that gives you the manipulation mode to work the controls and fuck with the settings on each one of the synthesizers. One is bass, one is for lead, and one is for basically pads and comping. And then you go turn around again, and there's this big-ass grid, and it's got tabs on the left side. So you grid sequence your bass line, you grid sequence your lead line, and you grid sequence the pads, which the pads, by the way, will take chords. It'll take multiple notes at the same time. And so your payoff for solving these puzzles is to unlock all the functions of these 3 synthesizers and make your own music as you wish. And you can even save them and then just rotate through pre-written grids that you've done and just load them up.
That sounds neat. It's, and the other thing, the visual aesthetic, it reminds me of, and granted, I'm talking about a game that's 20 years old, is an old game called Stellar 7. Did you guys ever play that?
I've only heard about it.
It's a tank game. I don't recommend going back and playing. but it's a similar aesthetic. I'll bet it looks like shit nowadays, but you're very much kind of this kind of trippy, angular, like it's that look of we have taken polygons and making them smooth and giant.
Yeah.
But in Stellar 7, you're a tank on a foreign world shooting things. But anyway.
That sounds good.
Nothing
I kind of want to try that. No, I also.
Yep, this is a game you'd like.
Having played this,
Did you immediately looked it up?
I looked it up and it looks like dog shit. Yep, it's just a big planet full of nothing.
It sounds cheesy. It sounds like something I would play because hell, I used to play Battlezone when I was a child.
This game was from '95. I would not play it again. Like,
that is where I'm at with Stellar 7.
This version came out in '82.
Oh well, never mind. 82.
Okay, never mind. Then yeah, I get what you're saying.
They had a CD-ROM version.
Okay, I will say this much though about Fract. I adore the game. I understand that it's a really weird, difficult demographic. I don't know who it would really appeal to other than me. But if it's on sale and you got a few bucks to kill, try it. It's worth a shot. And seriously, if you're into these things, then you damn sure ought to try it. because it's really gotten my head wrapped around a little bit of studio production and engineering again. Yeah, I kind of credit it as one of the things that keeps me going on it, let alone when I'm helping do production work for John and for Stretch, whom isn't here, and whatever else is going to go on in the future with music projects. But it's so fucking unique. I haven't seen a game, I don't know of another game that is actually like it. And owing to its style, oh no, you put the Stellar 7 link in.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. Okay, but
it
here's
is a
the thing,
different
though.
color palette, and there's no reason to watch it. I just
Not a
felt
problem.
compelled to, since I guess there was an early version that I'd never played.
That's cool. I'll go take a look later. But I do keep looking at that at Fract OSC and thinking, God damn it! I wish they would let this guy make a Tron game. Seriously, give me literally from the old movie Tron, the game Space Paranoids, and give me a dedicated light cycle game. Give me, shooting the recognizers with Space Paranoids. Give me the tank game. But I want this guy to do the graphics because, God damn, that shit's pretty.
Okay, I was wondering where you were going with that. But yeah, I mean, aesthetically, he would be perfect for something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you gave me an actual open world Tron game, at least let him be your consultant for the environment because fucking A, it looks like Tron.
Well, we kind of already got an open world Tron game, and that was Saints Row 4.
That's true.
Yeah, I've gotten that impression.
Saints Row,
I still haven't played it yet.
I love the Saints Row series, but man, games that give you powers you can't use in story missions can, I will play Saints Row 4 again someday, but God, that pissed me off.
It was so ugly. It was so ugly. It was all, what was it, red? Everything was red? Or the enemies were red and everything was like a neon blue, right?
I can't play in this
until they stuck me in a story mission and I lost all my powers. And
I just remember being so tired of the aesthetic. And just like everything looks the same, I'm out. And I just pulled the ripcord.
Well, and it didn't help that they used the same city when they did this, And it was an unfortunate situation, and I still like the game, but, it had a lot of issues. But,
Yeah.
So I want to talk about a comic. I want to talk about fucking Alias. Alias is, I guess they released the teaser. I don't want to call it a trailer because it doesn't show shit, but the teaser trailer for AKA Jessica Jones on Netflix. Alias is the comic that started. It was written by Brian Michael Bendis, so some of you might immediately be like, fuck that guy and be out. But the majority of the population is like, yeah, he has a decent, positive ratio when he's not writing Guardians of the Galaxy. So
just leave that to James Gunn.
Yeah, they released, it's kind of weird because, you have Comixology and then Marvel has their own app. Because this is such an adult comic, it appears that Marvel did not release this on their own app and only released it on Comixology. So you can pick up all of Alias, the original Jessica Jones series, on Comixology, and they've released one collection so far, and they're evidently going to release more, but...
Holy shit, this TV show sounds awesome. I had no idea Kristen Ritter and David Tennant were in it.
Oh, yeah.
That's... all right, I'm in.
Yeah, and David Tennant, by the way, is playing the principal villain.
He is playing the Purple Man. The Purple Man's ability, depending on what you read, but generally the consensus seems to be that he controls people's minds through
his Purple Man?
Through some smell he emits. Like
Okay.
He's a purple dude, and anyone around him does exactly what they say. Like there's a moment where he's literally walking down the street and he's like, everyone stop. Now I want you to beat the person to death to your left.
So he's like Captain Flash Mob.
I have no idea.
Wait,
Sure.
what?
I made that
Hold
up.
on.
Flash Mob?
That's not a real person.
Man, from here, I thought you said Captain Fleshmouth. And I was like,
Yeah.
whoa.
If they were into rape and violence, then sure. David Tennant is going to play someone who is going to make your skin crawl if they do it right.
Cool.
And I have faith that he'll be able to play it pretty creepy.
Yeah. Kind of the structure of the Jessica Jones comic series is the first issue starts, and this is before, like, in the comics, keep in mind, everyone has secret identities, even Captain America. So the first story is this woman thinks her husband's cheating on her, or this guy thinks his wife's cheating on her, something like that.
Oh, sorry.
She tails him and accidentally finds out Captain America's secret identity. The thing you also find out as it's going through is that Jessica Jones is a retired superhero. Like, something bad happened to her, she retired, and she just occasionally has emotional bursts where she'll fuck someone up real good. Like, some guy comes to her office, and I don't remember what he tries, but she throws him fucking through the window. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
She says fuck every other word. Like, we could hear fuck in this Netflix series. Like, that is a distinct possibility. Which,
Well, they certainly don't. They aren't shy about it on Orange Is the New Black or what's the actual good one? House of Cards.
yeah, but you know, if it's a Marvel series, and Daredevil, I don't think ever dropped a fuck.
Oh, good call. Good call. I always forget that it's Disney now.
Yeah, and I don't know how far they'll let it go. Like, Jessica Jones, like in the first issue, she literally has anal sex with Luke Cage.
Well, Luke Cage, huh?
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, that's daring.
You're not starting at level 1.
No, she
Whoa.
is a woman who is she knows what she wants, and most of the time it's not a relationship.
She
Okay,
sounds
then.
she sounds a lot like Marv from Sin City, which are just getting drunk and beating the shit out of whoever you want. And
You know, a smarter version of Marv. I can go with that,
Okay.
actually. And it's not like, the comic is not pornographic. You never, I don't think at least, you ever see her naked. You just have scenes they talk about, or up closes of faces or things like that. The other thing the comic has going for it is it has a lot of, I don't know if it's just the covers or if he contributed inside. I'd have to Google it again, but Sienkiewicz, Bill Sienkiewicz, I'm probably butchering his last name, but just this fucking phenomenal artist contributed to the series. Most people probably know him from, if they have read The New Mutants, he did the Spirit Bear storyline, but
we're so beyond my realm of I'm between the two of them. I'm a DC guy, and even then, I don't get too much past one step removed from Justice League. So if we're not talking about Avengers or X-Men, you're over my head. So just keep in mind, this is who you're talking to.
think closer to like Sandman artwork. It's more like kind of almost watercolor looking.
Oh, okay,
You
okay.
know, it has a way more artistic style to it. It's just it's very different. Like, when they first cast Kristen Ritter as it, I was very skeptical, but like, Bendis has said a lot of real positive things about seeing her in the role, and a couple of the shots I've seen of her, like, she looks kind of the right kind of washed up and tired.
That seems perfect to me.
And I haven't seen her in anything but aside from Breaking Bad. So, and she seems pretty excited about the role, which is cool. I think the only thing I've actually seen about the TV show that's coming out that ticks me off is Luke Cage wearing a helmet, because Luke Cage is invincible and has no fucking reason to wear a goddamn
In a helmet?
Yeah,
Well, maybe it's just for show.
he's on a motorcycle and he's wearing a helmet. I am
Oh,
sure.
well, he's
Hey,
trying
wait,
to be.
I got the answer, because he's in public and it is still city code.
He's being a good role model.
There you go.
Yeah. Come on. They've hand-waved so much worse things.
Yeah,
you
I know.
that he's-
I love how
It's a
John just
stupid
did the
thing
grumpy
for me.
old man moment there. You're like,
It's a stupid thing for me to get upset about. It still upsets me, but
Maybe he thinks it looks cool.
yeah, maybe it accentuates his round head.
it does not look cool. But hopefully he only wears it on that motorcycle scene that they showed an image or.
Well, now I just want him to go straight Judge Dredd with it and make him wear it all the time just to piss you off.
Luke Cage doesn't wear a costume. Like, okay, maybe in the 70s he did when he was Power Man and he had that very.
Maybe your dad's Luke Cage didn't.
Oh god.
This is Luke Cage for a new generation.
So like Alias, like the first story, she discovers Captain America's secret identity, and they have a shtick with that. And then I don't remember what the second story is, but one of the stories, she goes to a small town to investigate the disappearance of a teenage girl who's rumored to be a mutant, and she finds out there's an anti-mutant church in town. I have no idea how they can pull this episode off. I mean, I guess they'd have to do the Inhuman replacement, but like the whole series is so well written, and they're so well at. They don't make the story about the twist, but they have so many good twists in it, and it's just executed really well and done really well, and it's only like 20, 25 issues, something like that. And the last story arc is the Purple Man, where they kind of reveal why she retired as a superhero and kind of who her friends in the superhero society were and why she's pissed at who. It's a really well done series, and I'm super excited for the Netflix series here.
Well, I mean, Daredevil went over so damn well.
Yeah,
I never cared about Daredevil. I always thought it was a dumb character, and that Netflix. I mean, I think I binge watched it over 2 days. I am super excited for this one now.
Yeah. Well, there's also a fun thing that I just noticed looking this stuff up while we're talking. I've been like looking over IMDb. And so Mike Coulter is the guy they got to play Luke Cage. That's fine. We kind of knew that already. But here's the deal. He's got 13 appearances in Jessica Jones. So pretty much he's there all the time. We've got his own show, Luke Cage, is set to be shot. They're apparently, as John told me, they're still sorting out casting, which I thought was done.
They're trying to get the right helmet. They're trying to get the helmet to look
Exactly. You got to get the right one, man.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the trick. They have finally actually officially admitted 8 episodes of The Defenders.
Well, yeah, no, they admitted that from the start.
Well, did they?
I guess they
okay.
didn't admit an episode count, but they admitted The Defenders was always a plan, even though it's really Heroes for Hire. They're just fucking calling it The Defenders.
Well, we've got so far the characters that they confirm are on: Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Danny Rand.
Iron Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist.
Oh my God! Okay, see, I never kept up with Iron Fist, so.
Yeah.
I only know him from the was it Ultimate Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah.
The cartoons. Oh, that's such a good cartoon.
I've only seen an episode or two.
It's real good. It's got like for real producers and stuff on it. Like Scott Mosier did a couple of them.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
Scott Mosier.
real good writing. Like
I
funny, well acted. It's good. Yeah.
I guess, like, the 2 episodes I saw, it seemed like there's a very particular type of kids cartoon I like. Like, I really liked X-Men Evolution a lot.
Oh yeah, it's
Wolverine
more.
and the X-Men I enjoyed, but, like, Ultimate Spider-Man seemed a little bit too juvenile for me.
It's
like,
campy and jokey. Yeah, but I mean, I love Teen Titans Go, so that's kind of stuff sort of hits me fun.
I still don't like Teen Titans Go. I like the original Teen Titans cartoon series.
Yeah, I like the original Teen Titans too. The Teen Titans Go, like, I don't hate it. I remember how much I enjoyed the original, and it just, to me, it doesn't compare.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not humor that
enough.
everybody's gonna love either.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of a real niche.
Well, it's also not full stories.
no, it's 12-minute, just a couple of sight gags and maybe
Yeah, and I don't want that because I liked the stories they were doing. You actually got character development. For once in my life, I didn't hate Beast Boy.
Well, there's plenty of. I guess that's why I like it because there's plenty of stuff out there that I feel like already kind of does that. So it's a little more lighthearted stuff. So
Yeah, there's just something. Yeah, it's just not. I don't know. It was just a personal thing that I really, really liked the original animated run of Teen Titans. That was brilliant shit throughout, I thought.
this Jessica Jones thing is out in 2 months.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty excited for it. I like her and Luke Cage's romance. Like, the thing I like about it is it's not some stupid ass fairy tale romance. It is probably one of the most real, genuine relationships in a modern comic book. Now, granted, for a TV show, that ground has probably been covered before, but
Well,
like, it's not two people pining for each other or watching each other sleep or some bullshit like that. It's people having real conversations. And,
calling each other Spider Monkey.
no. I don't know. The other part, and I know they're not going to do it, but she very briefly dates Scott Lang, who is, the Ant-Man in the movies in the comics. But he leaves her the second she gets pregnant. But
Huh.
yeah, real good guy, isn't it?
Yeah, I forgot. That's one of the reasons why I never really liked Ant-Man.
Granted, it was not his, so
Well, still.
yeah. but her best friend in the comics was Captain Marvel, but they're not going to do that. They've replaced that relationship with Hellcat, from my understanding.
Oh, nice. Actually, that would be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the comic I recommend a lot. I don't have a lot to say about it other than that, because I don't want to give away any of the
I was gonna say we're kind of running out of steam. It feels like here.
Yeah. So, well, did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about? Or
No, I finally actually had enough to comment on Fracked to where I could actually say something about it, and so I'm thrilled to be able to report it, even though the game has been out for goddamn ever.
Okay, well, everyone, thanks for joining us. Thanks for putting up with all the technical difficulty bullshit.
Thanks, guys.
In the future, email us at carouselpodcast@gmail.com, or message us on Twitter, and we'll be sure and go through that and respond, assuming you give us something to respond to. And
Yeah.
we will see you. We're planning on doing this bi-weekly. And we're also planning on the off weeks. We're probably not going to start next week, but we might. I don't know. I'll talk to these guys about it later. But we're on the off weeks. We're going to try and do some sort of game streaming on Monday nights. So.
Yeah. See, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we'll see how all that goes. This is just a start thing. Next time, we won't fuck up the intro. Well, we might.
Well, he says that.
But hopefully we won't. So, Scott, Jay-Z, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Right on.
And we'll catch everyone next turn.
We'll see y'all. Bye.